let's talk about failure. So, failure is very, very uncomfortable, but it is also very necessary. Recently, I was working on one of my motorcycle projects, and I went down the rabbit hole of trying to get a wheel repaired. And it was because I bought a damaged wheel in the beginning and didn't realize it. Then I did work to it, try to make it pretty and everything, put it on my bike, and basically I had some weird handling issues. And so I sought out to have that wheel repaired, and it did not come out as nice as I would have hoped. And I spent the money on it, I spent the time on it. And I could say like that part of that experience was a bit of a failure. And it was uncomfortable because one thing I do is I'm going to show you everything that's going on, you know, as I kind of navigate this process. So that failure was on full display, and the reception to that was kind of mixed. Some people are like, dude, it's fine. You know what to expect when you're riding it now. Because basically the bike has like this weird shake characteristic. So it went from one area of shake, and I had the wheel repaired, to another area of shake, and it does it less, but it still does it, right? And when you spend money, you expect something to be a certain way. And some people said, dude, just buy another wheel, right? And some people said, you know, this is dangerous, and you know, you should send it back and have it repaired again. But honestly, I was more, when I really thought about it after I got the wheel, put it on the bike and rode it, I was like, okay, I expected perfection. But when I really thought about it, you can't expect perfection. It was something that was created perfectly from the factory. It was damaged, and now you're trying to repair it back to perfection. That's a tall order. But also, I value, and I've said this before, I value the experience of trying to fix it, or trying to find a path to fixing it. Because when you're rebuilding stuff, when you're taking something that was just thrown in a ditch and you're trying to turn it into something better than what it was, it's not going to be perfect. My bikes are not perfect. They have scratches, they have dings, they have, you know, some of the threads on some of these holes might be weird because a bolt was bent and something was stretched in a way it wasn't supposed to be, or there might be a nib somewhere on the cable that has some electrical tape on it, or there's some panels on it that might have a few scuffs on it, or this piece of plastic might be cracked and is zip tied to keep it from falling apart, because it doesn't make sense to spend $250 on a new piece versus a 2-cent zip tie to hold it in place. These bikes are not perfect. But one thing I can say is failing in public, it can be very humbling, but it also allows me to learn from you guys that are giving me the recommendations on what to think about next time. And I value that a lot. And I can also say this: if I never tried it, I wouldn't know. And if I never tried the very first wrecked bike, I would not be where I am today. That bike involved a lot of learning, a lot of public failing, but it also involved a lot of experience that I can take, or that I took, and I applied it to these bikes. But let's look at it from this perspective. There's every single bike I've learned something from. What bike was it? I want to say it was the Lowrider S had a damaged gas tank. Right, the dent was pulled on the tank, and the body shop, they damaged the deck for the fuel pump to mate to the gas tank, and so I went in and damaged it further, and I ended up having to use silver solder to plug that fuel up, the threads for the fuel tank. So basically, it was going to leak unless I did it. People ate me up about that. Oh, this is dangerous, whatever. To this day, that bike is performing exactly as I left it, 100%. Unfortunately, though, the person that owns it now, he was in an accident. He got T-boned. He's okay. The bike wasn't okay, but he rode it home. that gas tank has not leaked at all. Knock on wood, it has not leaked. It's done exactly as it was supposed to. The Super Chief Limited, that also had a gas tank leak. Not caused by me, actually. From the accident, there was there was damage to that gas tank that I didn't expect. I tried to fix it. It was out of my capability. When it had it welded, I had some people say, the weld, I wouldn't trust it. You don't weld it. Don't do that. Just buy a new $2,000 gas tank. No, I went and paid my local welder, I think $150. I mean, how do you expect gas tanks are put together? They're welded. Anyway, I had the gas tank welded. That bike is doing 100% fine. No leaks to this day. Also, that same bike had frame damage. Now, that was where I really was terrified. I really didn't know what the heck I was going to do with that bike. So I took when I took that bike apart, this was well before I found out that the bike had a gas tank damage. The bike had frame damage, and the first thing people said was, dude, go buy another frame. I was like, what? No, I'm going to try to get this thing fixed. And so I went down that rabbit hole, found a company that did it, and I spent $1,800 to get the frame repaired versus spending $3,000 on a new frame, not including taxes. But here's the thing, that $1,200 difference was also saving money as it was knowledge. A lot of people didn't even know you can get a frame repaired. And what's crazy is that bike, I believe, to this day performs better than every other Indian Chief I've had. And some of the bikes I've even ridden. That bike was so dialed in. It was great. They repaired it, and I think they got it within like so many millimeters of the stock spec. So the new owner of that bike, again, he loves it and it rides fantastic. And so that experience allowed me the knowledge. So it's now like, if I ever have to get that done, or if you ever have to get that done, you may be able to take that path to get you to wherever you're trying to get to. And so again, I failed a lot. Buying these bikes, you're gonna fail. They're not gonna be perfect. And the good thing for the people watching is that they get to see me fail in public display. But I try to take something from it and learn. And it's uncomfortable for me in these moments when I'm working on this stuff and I'm going, dude, this freaking, how the heck am I gonna fix this? But all of that has led me to where I am now. And I'd say always it's 100% worth it. So definitely consider it. Especially in this game, you're gonna fail. It's gonna suck. But it's a matter of figuring it out and just realizing this is what you signed up for. Let me know what y'all think about that down below. List some of your failures and some of your successes from those failures. I'm curious to know. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.